thank you for taking the time out to join me, bro. Super excited and for what you got in store. We was talking off cam. Seems like a lot. People definitely should be excited for.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. Just witnessing the growth for, I can't count the years, but over 5. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Between 5 and 10 somewhere, man.
Sure.
So it's been crazy to see. I'm super proud of it. So let's talk about the Deluxe that's just recently released. What's been your journey to getting that completed? The inspiration. And yeah, let's start there.
Yeah, man. Well, first off, appreciate y'all having me. But yeah, man, the journey was just a lot of turmoil. I mean, a lot of love, a lot of reconciliation, a lot of sacrifice. I would say has been kind of led up to this moment in the Deluxe. Extended some songs and wrote some extra verses on some things because I didn't feel like my perspective was complete. And maybe in a way I had to live to kind of get that perspective and to kind of get those second verses and different adjustments that I made to the tape. I'm more one of those people. I got to live, and then the art just kind of like the life inspires art. You know what I mean? So yeah. So after living and going through a real tumultuous year within the last year and a half, just crazy from a relationship perspective. Yeah, that's how we made it to the Love Is War Deluxe, and yeah, I'm really excited about it, and it's just the first of a few drops this year for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so and let's just jump back for the people that may not know, right? Let's say click this and like, yo, Deluxe. What's the first one about?
Yeah,
Let's just talk a little bit about that. Like, what was the inspiration for the title, Love Is War, and throw out maybe a couple of your favorite tracks from the project that are just getting introduced to it that they should check out first.
For sure. Yeah, Love Is War. The whole concept of it is based on love being sacrificial. All right, and love being something that you command towards somebody. It's not something that people earn or they even can earn. It's like really just a decision that you make, and it's to me is forever. You know what I mean? And then when I think of the concept of war, there's a lot of loss. It usually takes a long time to come to a certain, I guess, peace treaty and things of that nature because, I mean, both sides are so intricately woven and they feel so emotionally tied to this war or getting their point across. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a lot of loss of life, obviously, and ultimately sacrifice. You know what I mean? And so that's what the perspective I have of love based on my own life and, some perspectives of some other people's relationships. I came to the conclusion that love is sacrifice. So that's the meaning of the title. As far as my favorite tracks on Love Is War, I gotta start with Imperfect. Imperfect is a dope track, man. That's like a real B-side hit where it's really just talking about the ups and downs of a relationship, how it's not really gonna be perfect, but ultimately what we all want in a relationship is for somebody to see us, and when they really see us, to accept it. You know what I mean? And that's what Imperfect is really about, seeing the flaws in somebody, seeing the things that are tumultuous or finding those spots where you guys disagree and somebody still accepting you for everything that you are. So that's what Imperfect is about. And another favorite track of mine is Satisfaction is like the bigger song, you know what I mean? It's a great, R&B song and has a lot of eyes on it. The video did 1 million views and things of that nature. But I would say Interlude 002, which is Love Ain't Fair. Excuse me, it's a that one is a real tearjerker, you know what I mean? Because you got to understand that what you give in love sometimes won't always be reciprocated. You know what I mean? And that's a tough thing because you so emotionally invested into something, or anything that you invest into something, you expect to get something back. But sometimes love just ain't fair. It don't come back that same way. But you still got to keep the perspective and want to still give love and be open to still receive love, even when sometimes it seems like it's at a deficit. So Love Ain't Fair is definitely a big one for me. And the last one I would say is the title track, man. Love is War, acoustic. I mean, it's a lot of emotion in it. And yeah, it's just, again, that same concept of like love being sacrifice. You know what I mean? And then even, the chorus, it's like loving like it's war. Sometimes it get reckless. We try to break each other like we playing Tetris. It's really like, it's such an odd thing because like, what's the happy medium between self-love and like sacrificial love in a relationship? You know what I mean? Like trying to find a happy medium. A lot of times we breaking one another, and we're like doing little tit for tat and small things, like, to try to, I guess, get some semblance of dominance or normalcy. And but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, the overall perspective is to be unified, to be with one another. You know what I mean? So you kind of start to realize, like, wow, like what am I doing that for? Well, really, the point is for us to bond together. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, Love is War, acoustic, just kind of encapsulates the whole idea of the project, man, and love being sacrificed and just dealing with the ups and downs, man, of self love to relational love, and then love just being inherently sacrificial. I think the first rule of nature is what, self preservation. So I think we always see things from that perspective at first, but love is it's such a wild card because once it comes, like it's like the wind. You don't really know like where it came from, but when it's there, like it's very present. You know what I mean? It could really affect some things. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's Love is War in a nutshell, man.
Okay. No,
For
that's
sure.
fire, man. Thanks for sharing that. That's it's actually like super intentional and like thought out,
Yeah.
for and maybe it obviously exists in music, right? But for someone like building their journey, it's super dope to see that you're taking these images and these experiences and weaving them into a musical experience.
Yeah.
And for today, a lot of people like to comp, right? Compare certain things to things. And for people that may be new to like what you have going on, maybe not a comp, but maybe some inspo, who are some musical artists that you can say, man, when people listen to my stuff, maybe they don't think of this person, right? But I want them to get the vibe or the way this person expresses, kind of inspired me to kick this off.
Right. Right. Excuse me. I would say I want to say some underrated artists that really inspire me. I don't want to kind of go like top level. Everybody loves a Michael Jackson. I'm a Prince guy, obviously being from Minneapolis, but some underrated artists that inspire me is a Bilal. I believe he's out of Philadelphia, man. I always remember listening to his song Soul Sister, and just his neo soul feel and his perspective as far as his musical expression always was unique to me, and I really like him. I would say D'Angelo, obviously, like what he's been in the game and things of that nature. I would say his authenticity and his musical expression has always been just top notch to me, and never moving from his artistic expression is always been incredible to me, and something that really inspires me. And let me see. The last one I would say would be a I want to go like old school. I would say Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke. I think again some of my favorite songs from him. Bring It On Home to Me, Trouble in Mind, Ease My Trouble in Mind. These are some of the songs that may not be his huge hits. It's not I was born by the river. All that good stuff, but a unique artistic expression consistently. And I like that his music always foundationally centered around his voice. I think that's what my music does. I think I have a unique voice, and I think we let the vocals kind of shine in the same way that he does. So I get that inspiration from him, and yeah, like I said. So with that being said, my musical authenticity and the realness to my life and expressing that musically, I would say came from, those men's, what they've done artistically. Yeah.
Fire. Okay. So now pivoting back to Love Is War, the deluxe version, what's been like a few or maybe one of the biggest obstacles you encounter just trying to kick it off and get it off the ground?
All right. I would say, man, just life, bruh. Like, honestly, out of business and things of that nature. So a lot of times, I'm dealing with the ups and downs of that, and being an entrepreneur, and trying to make time almost for my artistic expression becomes difficult sometimes when you feel like you have more pressing issues at the moment. So I would say that's been the biggest issue. And then just trying to study, the ways that people are marketing these days and how they're consuming music and things of that nature, and just trying to find what's comfortable for me. But I came to the perspective now where I just want people to hear more of me. I want to really like be able to give them the songs that they want to hear from me, some of the songs that are unreleased, some of the songs that I've done in live shows or listening parties that people haven't gotten to enjoy from a DSP perspective, or I'm just holding on to it. I want to really, I think what's most important is feeding the people now, you know what I mean, and not trying to have a super polished presentation. But it's more about activity, you know what I mean. Obviously keeping the same quality, but higher activity level for sure.
Sure. So was there anybody that was like instrumental throughout that process of helping you get over even it could be mental battles or even musical battles? You
Sure.
were trying to figure out what you were trying to do musically and there was somebody there, or maybe you use a collective of people, right? And you send beats out to a couple people, get some opinions or some verses here and there.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be funny. The reason why this tape is out is because of Trinity. She has been pressing me on Instagram. She got my phone number, so she's been pressing me there to get this music out. So Trinity, it's because of you. Thank you, honey.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's dope, though. Like there needs to be that too, though, because like artists can fall into this analysis paralysis, right?
Sure,
It got to be perfect before I drop, and for the average listener, it doesn't. Even as a guy that engineers and mix and masters, and I could spend 30 minutes on hi-hats, and just manipulating the frequencies on them, trying to identify how I want them to sound, right? And someone could be in there listening like, man, it sounds same to me. I don't know what's like it go. Like let's just go. Let's just hear it, And so it's that threshold of, you getting what you want, the fan getting what they want, but you being real enough to kind of acknowledge that and like move in that and like respond to it and not feel like pressure in a negative way, like good pressure, good excitement, and I feel like more recently in like the popular space, we got to see kind of Doechii react in real time, right? After winning a Grammy, dropping soon after, or the fans wanting that Anxiety record from 5 years ago that she whipped up in her room, and then being able to deliver that for the fans goes a long way in their belief in that artist or belief in that man, like they're not gonna leave me hanging, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna make sure musically I'm fed or musically like I'm connected to what they have going on because they are invested. So how do you just feel about that in general, right? Just being able to balance fandom or fan love and your own creative desires and goals.
Yeah, I think if you're dropping music to the masses or it's mainstream, you have to take other people's perspective into consideration. And I think any true artist, what they want is a hunger and a thirst for their artistic expression in some way, shape, or form. Now, the levels of that may vary, but that's what you want. You want people to connect with your music or want more from you. You know what I mean? And I think that even helps you inspirationally to kind of like, oh, wow, like I don't want to pour into a cup that's full. You know what I mean? Like I want to pour myself out because there are cups available to be poured into. And I think that's the way I look at my fans, really like family for real. They like, they ain't their cousins or something, you know what I mean? Where I'm just like, I don't feel a negative pressure of like, oh, I got to rush something out or I just got to give them something just because. I feel like, nah, there is something that they may be going through that my music can help. There may be something that they resonate with through my artistic expression. Isn't that what I want? You know what I mean? And so I don't feel like I've always given them exactly what they wanted, but that's my goal to do now is to really like up the content, up the musical drops, so they can really just hear me in all the different perspectives that I have. And yeah, that's my outlook on it now. Like I want to feed the streets, bro. It's that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And while you were talking, it made me think of two things. One is like in a world of like I don't give a fuck, right? Everybody
Mm-hmm.
don't give a fuck. So for
Mm-hmm.
people to actually give a fuck about what you have going on or want it
Correct.
to come out, you know, being intentional with that and knowing like why you got the eyes
Mm-hmm.
to be present and utilize them. You don't have to oversaturate it, but just knowing like they are paying attention, they want something from you,
For sure.
and there's an expectation to deliver
Mm-hmm.
regardless. Just because they got something initially from you that they like.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is Jeff Johnson always in his book Everything I'm Not Made Me Everything I Am. One thing that I always gravitated towards is like when more people know about the mission or the vision,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of is good pressure for you to keep going and doing
Yeah.
it, right? If you tell yourself, I want to be X, Y, and Z, but no one else knows that you want to do that, you
Mm-hmm.
might be more inclined to push it back, to stall, to change, to
Sure.
kind of falter in ways, or you just give up on it altogether.
Mm-hmm.
But if you tell the homies, you tell mom, dad, aunt,
Mm-hmm.
people checking in, like, yo, what's up with that thing you said you was gonna
Yeah.
do? And they're just holding you accountable in that way to make sure that you do deliver,
Mm-hmm.
even in that way. So as you were talking, those two things just kind of popped out front of mind.
Sure.
So in terms of what you have coming up next, or like
Mm-hmm.
what the vision is, as much as you can disclose, right? Like
Sure.
where can fans support you next? Like what is something that people that's watching this can do right now to tap in with you
Sure.
and experience Darius, Mylik, and what you're building?
Absolutely. So first off, Love is War, the Deluxe is out right now on all DSPs. That's Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you consume music. Music video coming soon to my YouTube channel. Also, like and subscribe there. We're just upping the content. We about to really get back to dropping a lot more on the gram, Facebook, YouTube. We're gonna really start to just flood it a little bit heavier now. What my plan is to do is to this summer I want to drop an EP. I want to drop like a 5 to 7 song EP of some bangers, of some songs that are great for the summertime weather. You know what I mean? The little shorts, the LA vibes, the Miami vibes. That Miami D, LA D. You know what I mean? I want to really feed the streets with an EP that is for going out and kicking it and really drop the bangers. I want to go ahead and do that. Right now, also I have an album being mixed and mastered, and I won't get the name just yet, but that'll be about, excuse me, I think 10 or 11 songs, and they're already done. Everything is already cooked up, and yeah, I want to go ahead and drop that by the end of this year as well. So those are the two drops that I'm thinking about, and I gotta hold myself to.
Fire, man, fire. So it wouldn't be an IAMROOT brand type interview without me asking you to kind of leave some folks coming up with like bits of inspo, right? And it don't got to be folks trying to be in your shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody watching this could have a dream, a vision, or something they trying to accomplish, right? And
Right.
I'm not saying that whatever you say next is going to be the it for them to get there, right? But
Mm-hmm.
what's one thing they should be thinking about as they try to figure out what's next for them and they got a goal that they want to chase and attack?
Absolutely. I would say one thing I'm learning is that moving with speed sometimes is better than waiting on trying to get all the answers. I think there is a certain, I think life responds to people that take it by their horns. I think when you're moving with a certain quickness and a certain speed and intention with your actions, I think life is more fruitful for to whatever you're trying to do at that point, instead of sitting back and trying to find every little scenario. Because at the end of the day, it's easier to learn on the job than try to get every little scenario. And I know we're dealing with a lot of mental health and overthinking with a lot of people, and it's really just a trick to just keep you in solitude and just keep you stagnant for real. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say. Anything that you're trying to do, if you believe in it enough, move with speed. Move with expectation, move with intention, and don't try to figure out everything from the jump. You couldn't even do that if you tried. You know what I mean? But any person that has been successful in whatever thing that they were trying to accomplish, they move with a certain level of speed that life appreciates, and it will be fruitful for you moving with that type of intention. So that's what I would say.
No, that's fire, man. And I received that. And just maybe for clarity, even on that note, would you say like there needs to be some balance with that too? With like maybe not rushing it, because I know you said you can't do all things in the beginning.
Sure.
But it's just like when you say moving with speed, is that like treating things as priority almost too, and not like putting things off or not prioritizing these goals and things you want to tackle?
Sure. Yeah, I would say in anything there's a perspective, and then there's like weightier things or weightier options. You know what I mean? And I think the weightiest option is speed, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't have any understanding of what you're doing, don't do any research, don't have any understanding. But what I'm saying is once you have a certain level of understanding, it's more fruitful to go ahead and move with speed than keep trying to find out more information, read more books. Like there is no substitute for experience. There is no substitute for actually doing it. You know what I mean? You can read books about how to sing, but you're not going to be better at singing until you sing. You know what I mean? So that's the perspective on that. So it's just if you're weighing your options, I think the biggest thing that you need to worry about is moving. You know what I mean? And just like we were speaking about earlier, it's about a certain level of expectation, because once you get out there on that ledge, it ain't no going back. You know what I mean? You say, hey man, I want to start dropping videos every Thursday and hold me accountable. Then every Thursday, once you drop 2 or 3, now it's an expectation. We're expecting that from you. You know what I mean? And it ain't no going back. So, yeah, that's what I would say, man. Moving with speed and quickness for sure.
That's fire, man. And that's allowing like the human part of you to do its part. So you could think all you want up here, but getting into action and that fight or flight, it's like you don't know if you can fight until you get into one.
Absolutely.
You gotta throw that punch and get hit and understand how to maneuver and change things. Same thing with a lot of people that learn how to swim. Say I didn't know how to swim until they pushed me in the pool, or whatever their experience was with it. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Diving in, full force when you feel comfortable, or at least that you got it under your belt. Don't spend too much time overthinking it. Just like go for it, put up the reps, get those shots in.
Absolutely.
And then that allow you to make changes. Super fire, man. Thank you for sharing that.
Hey, you guys looking for a way to pass the time? Work events, road trips, social events? We got you right here. Get your This or That card game at www.thisorthat365.com.